Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of all ages, welcome to the most amazing interview show on the information superhighway! Now zooming to you live and simultaneously from two secret studio bunkers in dual time zones, located somewhere south of Alaska, east of Area 51, north of Guantanamo. And if I give you one more clue, we'll all be in deep trouble. It's the amazing twin namesakes separated at birth, the two most famous guys not in witness protection. It's Coffee with Jim and James!
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the LinkedIn community. We are happy and ready for this, excited for today's episode. I'm not sure why, but I want to throw a shrimp on the Barbie. I want to throw a shoulder of something on the grill. Maybe catch a tuna in that ocean behind me and throw it on the smoker. That will give you a little hint as today's exciting episode. And before we get into that, as always, my partner in crime, the one that is the yin to my yang, right up here, Mr. James Cross. Sir James, how are you this fine and beautiful day?
Man, I'm hungry, Jimmy. And based on what I know about this episode, it's a good time to be hungry.
Absolutely.
It's obvious based on your cheesy intro, as always, that today we're going to be talking a little bit about grilling, a little bit about smoking with my new friend that we connected on LinkedIn, Mr. Matt. Hold on, I wrote some notes on how to say your last name.
Yeah, all right.
Purchatzke.
That's it.
From the Big Green Egg Company. And Matt, how are you this morning?
I'm doing good, guys. Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Listen, I'm an egghead. I have been for quite some time now, and Jim has no clue what you and I are about to geek out about today. But he'll catch up. He'll pretend like he knows. He's pretty good at that. He's been in sales before. But we're super pumped that you are here.
Yeah.
And it's an honor for me, being an egghead, to share the screen with you.
Sure. Well, the honor's all mine. I appreciate you guys having me on. I'm excited as well.
All right.
Well, we're excited. Okay, you guys are right. I am a naive barbecue griller, whatever you want to call it. So I would classify myself as a novice, but I want to become, ready for this, an apprentice. So with that, Matt, could you bring us into your world a little bit? Tell us about Big Green Egg, your company.
Sure.
Give us some of the things to draw me in even farther so I can get my certificate.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we're done here, you might be an expert on it. See, there you go. Once you start,
I like
hard
it.
To quit. But so anyways, the Big Green Egg, essentially, to make it as simple as possible, is the world's greatest charcoal grill and smoker. It's the most versatile outdoor cooker on the market today. Been around since 1974, so well established, and it's just incredible. You know, as James can talk about, the versatility and the food that you can cook. You can do low and slow at 200 degrees, or sear a tuna steak at over 1,000, and everything in between. So pretty impressive.
1,000 degrees.
Yeah, they'll get above 1,000 degrees. Yeah.
That's one of the most amazing parts to me is the versatility of it, and to be able to cold smoke something really, really low, or take it to the extreme. You haven't lived until you've cooked a steak in about 60 seconds, and experienced on a Big Green Egg or made a pizza or whatever it is at those high temperatures, Jim. It's not like your run-of-the-mill grill or even your run-of-the-mill smoker. It takes it to a whole nother level. Matt, tell us a little bit about the history of Big Green Egg, because this is something that I recently learned as well, but I think it helps people kind of understand what makes Big Green Egg a little bit different than a standard smoker or grill, but then also a little bit of the background to help them understand where the roots of it all kind of came from.
Yeah, sure. So Big Green Egg's creator is a gentleman named Ed Fisher. So he created Big Green Egg, but he did not invent the style of cooking. Mm-hmm. So what the Big Green Egg is, it's essentially an ancient Japanese style of cooking called the Kamado cooker, where the shape of the cooker promotes convection. So again, the creator of Big Green Egg, Ed Fisher, was in the military, saw these overseas, and actually, when he came back to the States, he imported them on a ship from overseas and into Atlanta, Georgia. So the first Big Green Egg store was in Atlanta, Georgia in 1974. And Ed essentially has spent his entire adult life. He's an elderly man now, but he spent his entire adult life perfecting it. So they're no longer clay like they used to be. Now we use the highest quality ceramics in the world, which is what gives egg the versatility, the temperature control, moisture retention, and then also the true lifetime warranty that the Big Green Egg gets. It is a true lifetime warranty on your egg. So essentially, unless you're buying multiples of it for a few different sizes, it'll be the last egg you buy or last outdoor cooker you buy.
And Jim, that's the thing that got me a long time ago is, I'm on Reddit and some other sites, and so I follow a lot of people that are in the smoking scene, and that sounds bad to say. I don't ever know how to say that. It doesn't sound like easy drugs or something, but and some of the stories that I heard firsthand were some of the warranty stories, where, something happened, the lid came off, whatever it might be, they were moving or something cracked, and Big Green Egg just took care of them every single time. And when stories like that happen, and Jim, we live in an industry that's not too far-fetched to understand, when you have that level of customer service, and it feeds on itself, right? I mean, I bought it because I truly believed that I would never buy one again. And, or I hoped, right? Unless probably now I'm going, man, I could really use the bigger one, and the one above that. But originally, when I took the leap and joined the cult, if you will, when I was telling my wife, she said, man, that's expensive, like I'm sure everybody's wife does. And I said, yeah, but I'll never buy another smoker again. And she knew that because I had rusted out the bottom of plenty of offset smokers that had sat out in the elements, and that's the truth. And it's something special when you can cook on something and know, no matter what, if something was to happen, that they're going to take care of their client.
And that's an important thing, and we embody that in our industry. And sometimes there's a huge value. In our industry, we use a lot of tools, and you can get many different grades of tools, right? Mm-hmm. But when you get the best tool, what happens? You use it for decades and decades and decades. Sure. I definitely respect that, and I like that. I embody it, and I'm getting closer to probably purchasing one, guys. I'm going to go to James's house, take his, and then he has to buy himself.
Sure.
I'm good to go. So
yeah,
I know a guy, Jim, that can, Matt, when you talk on customer service, is that a big seller for you guys, or is it? I know too, because it's kind of a movement that a lot of people just come because it's cool, it's flashy.
Sure.
I don't really know, but does that really get them?
It does. I think what it does is it separates us from any type of competition, whether it be other style of Kamado cookers or other style of grills, whether it be pellet, gas, charcoal. That lifetime warranty, it's not a throwaway product. You know what I mean? There's nothing to fail on it. There's no moving parts. It's not going to rust. Typically, almost every other grill you get out there has a lifespan to it. And whether the warranty that manufacturer gives you is 30 days, 90 days, a year, 10 years, eventually that life is going to run out. Where with egg, like I said, I have customers that have eggs that are 20, 30 years old, and they're still using them. Now, they're a little bit, maybe a little bit different. The size and shape and all that have kind of stayed pretty consistent, but for the most part, they're still functioning and still working as they were on day one. So that definitely helps seal the deal, because it gives that person peace of mind. When you're doling out that kind of money up front, it's peace of mind to know that that's it.
Sure.
All right, let me ask you two, me being a novice, what's the most craziest thing that you've either of you have done on the egg or have seen done on an egg? I mean, because again, I'm kind of a burger and steaks and hot dog, and I need to graduate up. Hit me up with your wildest one.
Matt, you go first.
So I guess for me personally, is just when we do some of these rib fests or larger egg events that go on throughout the country. I've seen 61 racks of ribs all stacked up on a 2XL. So egg has 7 different sizes. We have a mini and then all the way up to a 2XL. That's our biggest. The egg itself weighs roughly 400 pounds. It's incredible. And on that, I've also seen 2 75-pound little piglets. So it's the mother load of that. I typically don't get too crazy. We do a lot of pizzas at our house. My family loves to do homemade raw dough pizzas where we'll roll out the dough. My kids will put their sauce on and all that. Get the egg to about 650, 700 and cook them in 5 to 7 minutes. It's awesome. It's great.
You do it like what's that called? Like a is there like a pan? Not a pan, but it's a clay thing that you would put in the oven. I've seen. Is that what you use?
Yeah. So we use it. So egg has their own ceramic accessories. So we use a baking stone, which is made of the same ceramic that the egg is. So it can withstand high temperature. Some of the ones that you get other brands are meant to go in your oven.
Yep.
And if you get them above 400, 450, they might crack. Where these, if you're at 800 degrees cooking pizzas or doing something, they withstand that heat. But you're right. Yes, we cook them on a pizza stone or a baking stone.
There you go. Interesting.
Yeah.
And Jim, if you're familiar with what the big green egg looks like, I'm going to speak for myself too, because again, I'm a nerd, so I'm in all these groups and stuff. So we all steal from each other on how to do it best. And so I've got a couple of bricks set to bring it up higher into the dome.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got my pizza stone on that. So it's almost like you're cooking it in one of those, brick oven style,
Mm-hmm.
right up next to the surface. Really, really
Yeah.
cool. So I've done that. But I think Jim said, what was the craziest thing? So I'm going to go another direction, like stupid crazy. So there's a movement about 3 or 4 years ago where people started smoking. So they would have a brisket on, have something on, smoking it. And they would take things like Cheez-Its and Cheetos and stuff, pour it in there and smoke them for, an hour while that was going on, pull them. And it is kind of crazy how good it is.
Is it good?
Yeah, it's wild. I would have never done it. Somebody did. The other one is right now, people are, and here in the last couple of days, actually, on this group that I'm on on Reddit, started doing queso. So they'll put all the ingredients in, one of the foil, containers you always use.
Yep.
They just put, the cheese, all the different cheese, the meat they're going to use, the peppers, all of it in that container, not mixed up. They'll put it in there. It catches, a couple hours of smoke, and it's enough temperature to start mixing it. They pull out this smoky queso that's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my next on my list of crazy things to do. But I've probably cooked a little bit of absolutely everything on there. You really can't go wrong. I've never done any of the baking other than cooking, pizzas. But as far as a lot of people bake like cobblers on it and pies and cookies and stuff, I've never went that route, but for no reason other than my wife won't let me smoke every meal. So that's really the only thing holding me back. But Jim, what about you? What's the craziest thing you've smoked on your egg?
Well, I don't have my own egg, but my son-in-law has one, and
Awesome.
Lives in Nashville, Tennessee. And I am a pork chop guy. I love pork. And
A lot of hickory in Tennessee. A lot of hickory. I said they smoke on a lot of hickory in Tennessee.
Oh yeah. And so we did some really good pork, and I tell you, I was out there. Now he became like you guys, like an aficionado. He bought like gloves and a digital thermometer with the wire going in, and he's adjusting things. He goes, "Oh, I needed just a little bit more," and I mean, he's like perfect, and he's going at it. He goes, "We'll check it in 17 minutes." I'm like, all right, we'll set our clock. And but it's fun. And it's given me, like I said, when you think about the energy industry, everybody loves to barbecue or grill in the energy industry. And I could see, in the back of my pickup truck, tying one of these off, and here
Sure.
we would go to the beach with it or something like that. So, that's
It's a
I
slippery
worked my
slope,
way up,
Jim.
guys.
It is a slippery slope, I will tell you that. You
You
know,
almost wrap me in.
the cool thing about the egg is there's more accessories than you can imagine now,
Oh, yeah.
especially, not even just big green egg ones, but a lot of people have jumped on the big green egg bandwagon and begin to supply different things for it. But the funny thing about it is I always find myself stripping it right back down. You don't really need a lot on the egg, I have one of the I think Barbecue Guru makes it, or one of DigiQ, one of those where you hook up the fan to the bottom, so you can regulate heat a little bit better. I think there's a big green egg equivalent even. Man, it feels like cheating. I mean, it feels like I'm cooking in an oven because I can cook on the same set of coals for 18 hours and not ever touch it,
Right.
which is amazing. But
Wait,
Matt,
is
what?
that serious, James? 18 hours?
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. It's wild, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay.
One.
So
Yeah,
when
one-
go ahead, Matt. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, just to kind of carry off what James was saying, one full load of charcoal on a large or an extra large, if you're smoking something, you'll get 18 to 20 hours easy. So that's a very common question we get. People will be like, well, how do I add fuel? How do I add charcoal? And it's like, you don't need to. If you start with a full load and you're cooking at smoking at a good temperature, anything that you cook under normal circumstances, you don't need to refuel. It's incredible. It blows my mind every time I see it, how little charcoal these use.
I didn't know that, and that is really cool because I'm like the old school, normal, dump the bag of charcoal in, and then like 2 hours later, it's all ash, and we're okay. Add more, move the meat.
Yeah, it's a
Right,
nice
the meat on the ground.
that part is something else, and with the little cheater that I just talked about, being able to regulate that temperature and set alarms and things like that. There's plenty of times that I put something on and go to bed, like go to sleep, and wake up in the morning and finish it. Where back in the day, that was the best part. When I was younger, those are the nights you would stay up all night and drink and feed the fire. Somebody had to take care of the fire all night. Didn't want it to burn. Now I'm old and I'm like, I can put it on and go to sleep and wake up and take care of it. So that's
really cool.
Pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Well, Matt, what you mentioned some of the things that you cooked, but if you had to choose a favorite item from pulling off the egg, what would it be?
Sure. So I also, my favorite thing is the pizza. It's just delicious. Like you mentioned, it's your brick oven pizza cooker that people go out to eat to have and cooked in front of. And we do it a lot. I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's very delicious, but I love the family aspect to it. Yeah. It's just, it's the lifestyle and the kids love it. And that just makes it all worthwhile. So
first time we ever did pizzas was the 4th of July, probably about 5 or 6 years ago. And my whole family came over. And I actually worked at a pizza place when I got right out of high school. So I knew about dough and how to make really good dough and things like that. So I had proofed this dough for a couple of days and fermented and all this stuff. And anyway, I've never cooked pizzas that were that good, by the way, since. I've been chasing the dragon ever since. But the family part is what you talked about, being able to, the kids get in there, make their own and design their own. And you can't beat that part of it, right? I mean, because, that's what we do it for.
Right.
It is.
You probably can't go wrong with almost anything you put on it, but when I talk about smoking, I really enjoy putting a pork butt on there.
Oh yeah.
Big bone in pork shoulder, something like that I can put on there, catch all the renderings, and reintroduce it later. That's probably one of my favorite for sure.
Oh yeah. I agree with that completely.
In Texas, we do a lot of brisket, and you can't go wrong there either. I probably don't grill on it enough. That's the one thing I don't do, because I have a gas grill too, but sometimes that's the plus, right? I can fire a gas grill up and have it done and wrapped up in no time. But I probably should grill on it more. But honestly, that's probably my biggest shortcoming.
Sure.
Can you guys help me for a second? I know we're getting close to getting some final thoughts from Matt, but and I'm being very serious. We talked about grilling, smoking, barbecuing, and again, I'm a novice. I got the smoking idea that it's low and slow and hood down. Is there a difference? Is there something I need to know between grilling and barbecuing, or is there or other terms that I need to know?
I mean, barbecuing and smoking probably fall somewhat in the same area. It's a matter of where you're from and what you say.
Sure.
Some people just think if you've got a grill in front of you, it's called barbecuing. But
exactly.
Grilling's definitely different, right? So steaks, pork chops, you're throwing something on there, putting some heat under it, like hamburgers, hot dogs, stuff like that. But if you want to put some smoke into something, then obviously you're going to be taking a lot more time with it.
Okay. That helps.
That's probably the biggest difference. Am I off base, Matt? You're the expert.
No, I think I agree completely. Yeah, that's what it is. Grilling is going to be a higher heat for a shorter period of time, and your smoking is going to be lower. And adding additional like smoked chips, cherry, pecan, that sort of thing to get that additional smoke flavor. Low and slow, longer. It's pretty simple.
Yeah, it's fascinating when you really get into it, because you learn so much about the different types of wood. One thing I do like to do on the egg is I really liked. I'll put some smoke on some ribs. Once I get them close, I like dry ribs. I think that if you do a really good job, then it kind of speaks for itself. You don't have to cover it up with barbecue sauce kind of deal. But a lot of people like barbecue sauce, right?
Yeah.
So because that's all they've known their whole life. So I usually will have some dry ribs that I pull off and set aside and wrap up. But then I'll pull my offset out, and just flare that thing up and slap some ribs back down on it after I've sauced them, and just put some layers of flavor on it, caramelize everything out. Look, Jim's mouth watering. And I'll just layer it, slap it again, and let that fire touch it, and really caramelize that on there. And again, just being able to go from a smoke setting to something more of a grilling instantly, and
it's quick.
Really bring in new layers of flavor on there that people just kind of take for granted.
But so one thing here, James, I challenge you. I don't know if you've ever done it or not, but to do a steak, and they call it caveman style. I don't know if you've ever seen it or tried it.
Yeah.
Directly on the coals. Yep. So you get them lit, and you put the steak directly on the charcoal. No grate.
I've heard about it.
Really?
So, yeah. And I don't understand it, because I'm sure Jim, you're questioning, how does it not just get covered in ash and all that?
Exactly.
I don't know the answer to that, but I know that it doesn't, and it's delicious.
Yeah.
Just Google search it, and it'll blow your mind.
Okay.
Yeah. I've watched it. I'm telling you, I'm a nerd. I know all about what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Well, I did that one time like 5 years ago, but it was a mistake. The steak fell through the grate. It got all full of ash. I had to throw it away. I was out in the middle of the woods.
Sure.
So I got one question for you, Matt, and we'll jump into little thoughts. And this is just a personal thing. So I've got a big green egg. Some of my friends are like, well, you got an egg. I'm going to go a different route, So I've got brother-in-law of mine just picked up a pellet a pellet smoker as well.
Sure.
Which I think has their place. I mean,
Sure.
I'm not going to fight it because once I put my attachments on mine's pretty much an oven and can program it and do whatever I want to. Do you think there's a place for both in this world, or you being the big green egg guy, you're like, yeah, I can't answer that question.
Yeah.
But you know, there's purists that are out there with, you know, post oak in an offset smoker, you know,
Sure.
doing their thing. And I'm not gonna listen, man. I'm an equal opportunity barbecue person, man. I'll eat it all, right? But and then you've got this new. I'm not gonna call it a fad. That sounds bad, but this surge of pellet smokers. Is that impacting you guys, or is that something that you think there's plenty of room out there for?
Well, I mean, it's definitely you know, when all these different types of categories and you're chasing after that one griller, right? And pellet has really come on strong in the last few years, and what they claim, right, is just ease of use. You know, really twist a knob and walk away, and it lights itself and that sort of thing. So there's definitely a place for that. I think it's more of a entry level, and I don't want to offend anybody, right? But it's you turn the knob and you walk away. You can't walk away completely because you have to be there to feed it with pellets. You know, there's moving pieces, so there's things that can fail on them. They don't last as long. They're not as fuel efficient. But it's a good, because I can understand where that consumer is coming from. Because with the big green egg, it appears to be intimidating, right? Because they're big, they're hot, and they're heavy, right? And you have to light it, and it's intimidating at first. I can tell you with absolute certainty that once you use it once or twice, that goes away. My 9-year-old son, we have a mini match that he thinks is his, that he lights, and he does it all his own. But there's room for everybody to play, right? And I just think that those people who get into the lifestyle of smoking eventually will be like, well, there's got to be something better, or what's the next challenge out there, and that's the big green egg, you know. And it'll be the last one they buy. They won't need to replace it.
That's right, Jim. I don't even think we have to ask for final thoughts just then.
I think that was it. I mean, that
nailed it for sure, and I concur. I think there's a place for it. I'm not in that place. I'll tell you that.
Sure.
I've taken the leap and I enjoy it. Being a part of these different groups that are very passionate about the big green egg, it's a different level of smoking. Like it is a different group of people, if I can say that, in a good way. In a weird, like, cult drink the Kool-Aid kind of way.
Yes, sir.
Totally fine. Nobody made us make this video. No, but it's a ton of fun. It brings us together. I think at the root of all this, right? And I think Jim mentioned it in the pre-call a little bit about our industry loves to come together.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And whether, you know, of course, we're in natural gas industry. We got these big setups that are propane based, and then in the same breath, we have these big setups that are big trailer smokers too. But at the end of the day, it brings people together, like we talked about with family. Our industry is a big, giant family.
Yeah.
And anytime somebody wants to cook for the family, we all pull up a chair and we have a good time. And so with that, we're excited to be a part of the I'm excited to be a part of the family. I know Jim's got some work to do. We're still converting him from his George Foreman.
I'm on the and I was just thinking it would be great to have Matt be at one of our events sometime doing some cooking and such, because you're right, fellowship is the industry, and you just you get the positive vibe from Matt that he's just you're a great guy, sir. I mean, I could spend another hour to talk about this. I need to go out and find out how I'm going to buy an egg, but I got to look at sizes too, because given my elderly stage in life, we're downsizing a little bit. What I did there? So, but anyways, any last words, guys, before I wrap up? Anything you want to say? Any words of advice?
Wow,
that's probably pretty.
Get a
Yeah.
big green egg. No,
Right. Get a couple of them.
talk to Matt. He can hook you up. No, man, Matt, it's been a pleasure having you on board. Thankful to have you on board.
Yeah.
I've been a big green egg fan for years and years and years. So being able to connect with you and geek out on this stuff is something that
Yeah.
I've been wanting to do. So I appreciate you being on board.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me. It's been, since we connected, James, to now for the past few weeks, I've enjoyed emailing with you guys, and I appreciate it. I think our outlook on life and family and all that kind of stuff syncs up very well together. So I appreciate you having me on here. It's been a lot of fun.
It's been a blast, and I'm glad that I have a new friend, and I consider you part of our industry family, Matt.
All right.
You're in.
All right.
With that, I want to encourage everybody that's listening and tuning in, watching, to connect with Matt and as well as with us and learn a little bit more. I'm sure Matt would enjoy getting a question or two. See if you can stump him on something. See if you can say, how would I cook a 400-pound tuna caught in that ocean?
Yeah. Can I put pellets in my big green egg? No, I'm just kidding. I'm trying to stump them, right? Stump the chump. No, go ahead.
So do connect. And if you like the video, if you like this session, like it, share it. We just want to spread the good word and, as we say, spread the love. So with that, I will again thank Matt so much for your time today.
Thank you.
My partner James. Like I always say, he's the Starsky to my Hutch. Wait, that's an 80s reference. I'm showing my age again. Anyways, listen, everybody be safe out there. Have a great day. God bless us and God bless our industry. And let's all be safe. And we will see you next time for another exciting episode. But until then, have fun with this one. Have a great day. Take care.